Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it? Hola, bon dia. Good morning, Portugal. Carl Munson here. And you can probably hear in my voice, I'm slightly tired. What a couple of weeks it's been. This podcast is called the Curia Move. And I will endeavour to summarise the pesadelo, which is your first bit of our 3 bits of vocabulary, as customary on the Good Morning Portugal podcast. The pesadelo, the nightmare that has been the Curia move. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sat here on my concrete pergola balcony at the front of the building, which we are now grateful and delighted to be in. But getting here has been, quite a process. So, I don't know, I'll be here for about 10 minutes if you want to hear the story. The sun is rising, as you can see from the cover picture. And this balcony is a beautiful east-facing balcony. The birds are singing. And it's finally nice to have a handful of Marias in my hand, which I'm going to dunk into my traditional British brew to celebrate returning to podcasting and to sit here and just to enjoy being in this place. But rewinding, a couple of weeks ago, I guess it would be, we've moved from central remote Portugal. It's been amazing in so many ways to experience life deep in the interior and experience what that really means. You know, we always have ideas, don't we, as human beings, and then there's the reality. And I have to say, I say this to my wife, Mrs. M, the astrologer, that I'm an active learner. I seem to have to do things and suffer a little bit to learn my experiences. Some people just can look at situations, can't they, and go, I'm not doing that. Whereas me, I think, well, that'll be amazing. And then it's like some way into it, think, oh my God, what have I done? And generally speaking, the whole adventure to Portugal just hasn't been like that. It's been like, yeah, I had a feeling it'd be great coming to Portugal. And in so many ways it has been. But obviously, you know, as the great Soulbound Mays once said, where there's a flower, there's the sun and the rain. And we had a bit of rain, we had a bit of chuva, muito chuva. That isn't one of your official bits of vocabulary, but you can have that. Chuva is rain, muito chuva, a lot of rain. And there's been a lot of rain, metaphorically and actually, here in this Aveiro district of Portugal. But anyway, we got ready to move. The plan was that I'd seen Curia and fallen in love with it. And we had a chat in a cafe, and the cafe owner's son was an estate agent. Isn't that great? He can help you. And he took us to two properties. And there's going to be 2 properties, 500 euros. And you may have seen mention of this elsewhere in my many outbursts on social media. 2 properties, fairly nice location, off the beaten track, in the suburbs of Curia. Not that it's a massive place anyway. So the 2 houses, the garden. Can we rent one of the houses out? Yeah, sure. Can we have pets? Yeah, sure. Can we basically do what we want here? Yeah, sure. Can we have the furniture? Yeah, sure. See. And I should have known when I started moving my vast belongings, and that's a whole other podcast, isn't it? Why do we collect so much rubbish? Why do we ship rubbish around the world? Why do I near break my back each time we move and think, why am I moving this thing again that hasn't been unboxed before and probably is never likely to be unboxed ever? But anyway, I turned up at this landlady's house, the 2 houses we were going to be renting that I just mentioned, and she was quite surprised to see us. The estate agent was supposed to have organised it, but she made some space. She's a lovely lady. She made some space. And then April the 1st, was that the day we moved in? Was that a Sunday? But anyway, I think it was the 31st of March. 30 days of September. Yeah, 31st of March we moved in. Because that'll be fine as well, no worries. If you want to move in on a Sunday, you move in on a Sunday, no problem. And all was not quite right when we moved there, when we turned up. Bearing in mind, we got 2 kids. We got a little dog who turned up, and that's another Peggy podcast of her own. She's part of the challenge of the last couple of weeks. Peggy, she turned up with a belly full of puppies, and she is now with us back from the vets. But I might tell you more about that in a different podcast. But there we are. We arrived, 2 adults, 3 children. Sorry, we've got 3 children, 2 children and a baby and a puppy. And a few bits, the bits that you carry in your car, like your plants and stuff. And it became apparent that this lady wasn't going anywhere. She was staying in her house and renting us the other one. So we couldn't really take over her garden. We couldn't feel free. And it really wasn't what was suggested, €500 for both houses. And a little lesson there, right? What seems too good to be true can often be too good to be true. And she's a nice enough lady, but we're living in her territory, right? And there's a problem with the water. So as things unfold, as we make us, I'm just waving to one of the neighbours. I already know the neighbours here after a few days. We discover that the water's not on when we need it sometimes. And the house hasn't been lived in. They say I pay €250 to clean it, to have it cleaned. Quite a lot, isn't it, for cleaning and prep and a sort of moving in fee. Wasn't very clean, really. Not by my estimation. And I wouldn't say my standards are that extremely high. And then the drains started to flood as well. So we got flooding drains. We got intermittent water. We've got a pretty dirty place, really, an unlived in place. And this lady, I think, she's really nice. I can't blame her. I think a lot of it is massive misunderstanding and a kind of hasty and optimistic entrepreneurial, let me call him that, an entrepreneurial estate agent. And I'm new in this town. We're new in this town. I don't want to throw a fit. I don't want to throw a wobbly. I want to live in this town for a long time. I love it, this place. And again, that'll be, I think it may be in previous podcasts or Facebook Lives you've heard about me singing the praises of Curia. I want to be here. So I don't want to be some angry newcomer to the town throwing a fit, shouting about how I didn't fight in 2 world wars or my granddad didn't fight in 2 world wars for this nonsense. So I've got to play it somewhat cool and go into damage limitation. But to cut a long story short, the pesadillo, to bring the nightmare back into the dream, let me tell you that I had a plan B up my sleeve, which is probably not like me so much, but I've been on the side. Is it the side or as well as? I've been parallel. I've been working with a great coach and getting a few ducks in a row, getting my life in order, getting my life right, business planning, cash flow forecasting, and a bit more self-discipline. And I've got to say that's paid dividends because I had a plan B, which was an offer of pension, 15-room pension. That's another bit of your vocabulary today. Pension, like a pensione, is it in Italy? Pension in German or French, but it's a small hotel. Okay, so we are now in a small hotel. I've done a great deal with the family to be in the hotel and do a bit of renovation work and hopefully buy it in due course. So here I am, sat on the balcony. The sun is rising, the birds are singing. You can hear some traffic noise. You're thinking, Munson, that's not exactly idyllic, is it, with the all the traffic going past? There's a training distance. But after nearly 2 years of being here, on and off, this is the right balance for us, okay? We're not far from the IC2 main road, which therefore means we're not far from the A1. We're near a railway station, okay? We maybe do our bit for climate change and extinction rebellion and not have a car. We've figured out, and this is a big challenge in Portugal, not having a car here is like heresy. Why would you not want to have a car, you crazy fool? It's a bit like not wanting to have a TV. What's wrong with you, man? But we're thinking, I want to keep the costs down, I want to make this work, and living without a car from time to time. Because I tend to hire a car when I need one, and that's from a wonderful company called Zest. Link to them on my website. Zest are really good from Faro and Lisboa airports. So we hire, so we can live here without a car. It's got the amenities we want. But like I said, I'll do a separate podcast about Curia. But just to let you know, soon after being here as well, Peggy, the puppy mama, she went into some serious complications. We took her to the vet. She needed a cesarean after having one puppy, which unfortunately didn't make it. 2 of the other puppies didn't make it after the cesarean. We were left with a 4th puppy that we were hand rearing here because she couldn't do it. She was in a really bad way. And hold on, just let the truck go past. I bet you're thinking to yourself, I'm not living in Curia. That sounds like a right noisy place. But anyway, as that subsides, the birdsong will be back. And maybe the 2 doves who sit on the pergola here. Oh, there's a dove sitting on a lamppost. I think he or she can hear me. Yeah, Peggy was really unwell, and we had to try and hand raise her puppy, and unfortunately that little babe didn't make it either. But it's been really sad in many ways just recently with Peggy and her poor health. I think she mated. She turned up on our doorstep one day. She'd mated with a very big dog, and the puppies she found it very difficult to give birth to, and she went into some complications, mastitis and an infection. But she's on the mend now. She came home for a sleepover with us at home last night, and she's eating again. She's weeing and pooing, if you need that sort of detail, and she looks like she's on the mend. And I can't get too hopeful because it's been such a traumatic time with the puppies and the whole background of living in chaos for a little while. It's been really hard for the family, but we're onward and upward now. We're on quite limited services. We're camping basically. There's my little one shouting for me. So I'll finish off and I'll just refresh you on the. I'm just up here, just doing the Hola Bon Dia Portugal podcast one more time. Do you want to say good morning to everybody?
Good morning.
Hola Bon Dia. There they are, with the backing vocals of the dove. And your vocabulary for today is what did I start with? Pesadelo, nightmare. There's one of those Portuguese bicycles that people ride around wearing a cape. There's lots of superheroes. It's a front cape though, not a back cape. Probably as back as in BACK, not BAT cape. To keep the rain off you, I think, and other flying detritus and debris protects you. But anyway, I digress. Pesadelo, nightmare. Pension, small hotel. And finally, as we move towards the Easter weekend, it's a 4-dayer here, as it is in UK. But I think generally in Portugal, if there's a public holiday, people take an extra day, maybe either side as well. So it could be a 6-dayer here. Hope the weather's looking up a bit because I've got some serious plumbing work to do here. And your final word as we move towards Easter weekend would be Boa Pascual. Boa Pascual. Happy Easter to you. And do stay tuned. Happy to help you with your... Don't let this put you off. These things happen, of course, don't they? In the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, the mais ou menos, the more or less of life. In when you go to a new country, or life generally, life is ups and downs. Might as well have them having an adventure, which is the way I'm choosing to see it. So have a lovely Easter, Boa Pascual, and we'll speak to you again soon. I'll get back into a better rhythm of podcasts, and I think I'm even going to do the radio show again. So if you've got any tunes you'd love to hear in the morning, Good Morning Portugal, might do a little radio show, get up early and, as part of my morning routine, do a little radio show and update you with what's going on, tell you what's happening on property-wise and generally speaking in Portugal. Things like the fuel lorry drivers strike for Easter weekend. So there's queues for petrol here as well. People are freaking out and panic buying petrol, including us, that has to be said. All of that sort of stuff, news, views, culture, and vocabulary and language. I'll do my best to help you enjoy and discover a new life in Portugal. So all the best to you. Have a great day. Bom dia!